considered a violent and vengeful man, but what is always overlooked is his admiration for David. Stay with us and learn the story of Joab from admiration to contempt. Although the Holy Scriptures do not inform us of his age, due to the relationship between David and his sister Zeruiah, we consider that Joab and David were possibly close in age, assuming that Zeruiah was older and at that time women married at an early age. Joab and his brothers grew up with David, and seeing the exploits of his uncle and his young age was an inspiration for them. So much so, that of David's family, the Holy Bible specifies that only those who formed an outstanding part of David's valiant men were these three mainly. But something was developing in Joab's heart, something more than just admiration. For Joab, David became an idol and not just a model or example to follow. But when David became king, he made a series of mistakes that gradually changed Joab's heart. In the period of flight, all the men around David constantly saw his dedication, respect before God and Saul, good behavior, bravery, confidence, fear of God, and that is why he had 400 who followed him, among which 30 stood out as the brave and where the three sons of Zeruiah belonged. Group that even risked his life on several occasions to save David or to give him a cup of water. But David did not take their lives lightly until he took Uriah's wife. Second Book of Samuel chapter 11. Many of David's actions, Joab saw as a sign of weakness because of his compassion and decided to take care of them himself. But everything changed when David took Uriah's wife and sent Joab to eliminate one of the most loyal and brave men who surely knew what was going on, who accepted his death without refutation. From there, Joab's attitude began to change. It awakened a ruthless spirit in Joab, became vengeful, eliminated everything that got in his way, and indirectly contradicted the king's decisions, even more so if they seemed wrong to him. We see this in what happened with Absalom. Second Book of Samuel chapter 15. Even though Absalom betrayed the king decided not to harm him. He decided to flee instead of confronting him. Perhaps because of the guilt he felt for ignoring the plight of his daughter Tamar, or when he brought Absalom back from his flight for killing his brother in revenge. And the king sent for him, but did not see him. However, in spite of the order not to harm him, when Joab learned that Absalom was trapped, he decided to kill him. It could be out of revenge because his cousin set fire to his wheat field. Or because he saw him as an obstacle for all the humiliations he put the king through. Another occasion was when David took a census of the people. Second Book of Samuel chapter 24. King David suddenly decided to take a census of the people, and that was forbidden by God. Although Joab reminded him that it was forbidden by God and warned him, the king's words prevailed and God punished the people and many died because of that decision. Until Joab turned against the king and tried to help crown Adonijah, David's fifth son, knowing that Solomon should reign and not by David's whim, but by God's command. But his resentful heart could no longer see clearly, he only felt contempt for David, whom he saw weakened and not as the warrior he once admired. Perhaps, because he could not bear to see David's son with a woman he took away from one of his most loyal men. However, I must remind you that we all have the opportunity for redemption and God can forgive and restore whomever he pleases. You can admire someone, but do not idealize them in your heart. Don't let yourself get lost in obsession and resentment. Lest you end up dead like Joab, making a wrong decision when God has already restored the one you cast aside. Remember, study the scriptures, stay prepared, and see you next video.